Hello, it's daytime today. Well, it's the daytime, so you would hope so, no? But, I don't know, I went out dancing, as I do. I might go out tonight too, I'm not sure. Um, and, it's just, like, incredible. Um, because I guess for me, I'm realizing that my dance, or dancing, is kind of, maybe like my music, actually. Ultimately, I think it might be a form of stimming, which is an interesting revelation to have come to. Um, Another revelation I came to was that a few days ago, or last week, sorry, I turned 32, and actually today is my brother's birthday and his daughter, and um, so it's, I don't know, thinking about it again, I think this year for me, 2022, has been such a, just a railroad sort of, no, I mean, roller coaster, sort of, I mean, what do you say? It's been hectic, like in terms of revelations and these ideas that have come to me the last, yeah, while. And um, one of the ones I had, I guess, and I just thought of it last night as I was dancing, because there's like a, it's called the Rainbow Club here in Melbourne, and it has a balcony inside. I think you call it a mezzanine or something like this. Anyway, and I sort of was waiting for the music to change so I could go and dance. You know, I was just sitting like underneath this where you walk up the stairs and this mezzanine. I was underneath waiting, just observing really, because there's lots of young people, really young, like they must be 19, 20, 21 something. So a decade younger than me. Anyway, and so I was anyway waiting. Then the music changed, and then I walked into the dance floor. It's almost like it's almost like a Western film set. It's not like themed that way. I mean to say, but rather it sort of has the architectural elements of something like a High Noon Wild West bar almost, without just not the swinging doors, but it has that sort of architectural aesthetic, I guess. But the aesthetic overall is more, I don't know, flowers, uh, sort of Turkish glass lamps that hang from the ceiling like a chandelier, and a bit of grunge, a little bit punk, but yeah, very like queer as well, I suppose, and the sort of idea of queer, like inclusive queer rather than exclusive queer, I suppose one could say. Perhaps quite a term, I'm not sure. Uh, Nevertheless, so I was dancing, la la la, and I just realised towards the end of my time dancing, like the DJ, she came over and she said, "Wow, who are you? I just have to talk to you." And I said, "I'm no one. I'm just dancing." But I was all alone on the dance floor. I should say this because that's probably quite important. So as I walked onto the dance floor, everyone had sort of. I thought there were still people like mingling on the corners, but they had all gone. Um, and then I realised, yeah, towards the end that there was like at least, I don't know, maybe 40 people, 30 people, like a wall of eyes looking at me from this balcony above. And I just had this, I don't know, like an X-ray sort of like flash of lightning in my head of, oh my god, it's like looking up from the grave. It's weird. It was a weird thing. And then I just sort of thought throughout the rest of the night, oh my god, like, I'm probably going to die in the next 28 years, you know, or 30 years, like 60, I'll be 60, what, 60 something. And it's kind of fucking crazy to think that I don't feel like 32. I feel like I'm still, I don't know, 19 or something, or 22, you know? Just a lot wiser, I hope. More confident, maybe. Actually, I don't know. I think I was about this confident when I was 22, actually. Um, so, I don't know, it's weird. But, yeah, it was just I don't know. This year, each day is a sort of series of revelations each day, reflections. And, yeah, I don't know, this is just another one, I guess. But, I talked with a guy, and he was speaking Italian to me to practice, I think, and also just because because I can understand a fair amount of it. Um, like French or Japanese, I can kind of understand it, but I'm very shit at responding, actually. But anyway, whatever. Um, yeah, so that was nice, and his friends were kind of interesting. Like I thought they were straight actually, and I thought okay, whatever, they're just here to like hang out because it's kind of a safe space, I guess, even for straight dudes, which is cool. I mean, why not? But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have picked it, you know what I mean? Like walking down the street when I go queer. Whereas like me and my other friend, actually, my old friend of a friend, he was there, good old Val, who's also Italian, um, and with his friend or something like this, I think. And yeah, it was really nice actually. I sort of had like a bad instinct at the beginning of the night before I saw these people and everything. Before I danced, I thought, oh, it's gonna be so boring. It's just gonna be like a write off of a night. So I'm glad that I waited like an extra song for the song to change so that I would dance. And then yeah, because I was sort of getting impatient at one point. So that was cool. I'm glad that I gave myself patience, you know, to wait for just one 3 minute song, and then the next one came on, and it was danceable for me. So yeah, it's kind of interesting life. um, but yeah, I'm also now working on another record. Of course. I do so many and so fast actually because I never know well what if one's gonna live to see tomorrow, but less morosely. I don't know what's going to happen the next 3 months, you know. Or this month even. I live month to month, and so that's why I feel like I have quite a fuel under my arse. I just sort of do stuff because I don't have the time to wait. That's why I don't have many skills with music because I don't have it's not the patience per se, but it's more the nobody promised me tomorrow sort of attitude, memento mori, but also carpe diem, right? To seize the day, and I think to seize the day for me right now and how I've got had all these revelations, I realized the correlative is, of course, that I started to make music, and doing that, you have to. It's like a meditation. Actually, it's like dancing in many ways. It's more involved than dancing, of course, but it's similar actually, and especially because my music is so poetical, or I try to make it so the lyrics so like poetry. Um, that's a lot of thought does go into the lyrical content. And I think that's sort of the thing, that now that I realise I might go overseas soon, and you never know what happens overseas, especially for me. I end up in some like ridiculous things that happen. I don't know why. I guess because it's like a moth that, attracted to flames. So people, maybe insanity just sort of attracts other insanity. I'm not sure. C'est possible. Yeah, I think so. Um, but anyway, and so yeah, so that's why I create so much music because I just don't know, and I don't know if this phone's gonna smash. I don't know if you know what I mean. Like you just don't know random chance what will happen. So I just do everything bang 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 as much as I can in order to simply have something rather than nothing. I mean, if you have nothing, you have nothing to work with and nothing to springboard from. If you have something, well, you have something, right? Like life, it's better to have something and fail at that something than to have nothing and not even succeed. So it's sort of like that in my head. But and I'm sort of trying to do these drawings as well. I started a new drawing and I put it in the rain by accident the other day because it's raining, and it's dried, I think. But yeah, it's so cold here. It's like a crisp. It sucks moisture out of the air, sort of cold. Like a fridge, like a freezer. Sorry, or like antifreeze or something. Not antifreeze. What's it called? I forgot. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So anyway, so yeah, this reflection upon that I've probably only got 30 years to live. I was like, oh fuck, it's rather. I don't know. What do you say? It's rather. The light is rather nice, isn't it? It's rather annoying, but anyway, that's life. You have to. I mean, you're not gonna live forever, so now's the time to do stuff. Such as travel, such as create music, such as paint a picture or write a novel or whatever. I mean, even if it's not good, like what's good, you know? I mean, really, what's good? I don't know. I mean, for some people, what's good is absolute shit to other people. You know what I mean? Vice versa. A lot of the time, vice versa as well. Um, like the most intellectual, beautiful stuff is kind of shit to most people because they can't access it, or whatever. They look at a painting and they're like, I don't fucking get it, but they don't want to sound stupid or like provincial or parochial, so they don't say anything. Now I just don't care. I think I will say something, with writing or with arts or whatever, with music. I make no pretensions about my music. I sang last night like musica naivete. It's naive music. It's pure. It's pure because of that. Though I think it's kind of like a child's music, like not children's music, but like as if it was a childlike person making music or a child making music. That's how I approach it. I really like that more. It's punk in a way. It's jazz in a way too, actually, in some respect. But it's for me more important to express than for it to sound like a symphony or something, or sound this and that. So anyway, with this new album, this new record, collection of songs that I'm going to work on is another upon a theme. The thematic of the subcontinental, I've still not come out of the grip of it. Still got me. Actually, it's another seminal one for me. Like Iridescent Panther, I think will turn out to be a different. It's not going to be an atmospheric album, which is what I call Iridescent Panther, but it's going to be probably more like disco, punk, like more of a heavy sound. Simply because the matter of the subject is actually this guy at the beginning of the year who I met previously. I helped him with his CV, and I helped him. He was an Indian guy from Pune or Pune. I forget how you say the name of the city, but it's a small city outside Mumbai, sort of like. Well, it's different. It's not near Mumbai. It's away, but anyway, it's kind of like, how does I say? It's like the Oxford of the East. It's very intellectual. It's very cultural. It's very like that. It's like very pretentious. Um, yeah, the Punekars. I don't know. The Punekars are like the people of Pune. So Pune. So yeah, I think they're sort of humorous but quite intellectual, and obviously, I think they sort of descend from a merchant sort of background. I think it's something along these lines. I'm not sure. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't care. But it's more. This guy, he gave me money. Like a year after we didn't speak for a long time, and then he just randomly was like, "Let's meet." And I thought, oh, he just wants to be friends. We'll go on a date or something, or we'll just meet or whatever, have a drink, just like normal people. And then I go actually to, it's like Kent Street that we meet. This is in, I think, January or February this year, and yeah, and he gives me like this money. I won't say how much, but he gives me a lot of money, and for me anyway. And he's like, "Oh, I got a job because of you." And I said, "What do you mean you didn't get a job because of me? You got a job because of you." He's like, "Yeah, but you completely wrote my CV and did my application with me and all of this, and you used the right words." And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's because English is my tongue. It's my mother tongue." And he said, "Yes, but anyway, I wanted to give you this." And I said, "Oh, you really don't have to give me anything at all. Like, just buy me a drink or something." And then he slid this, like, envelope over. And yeah, I looked at it. It was like a movie. It was like something out of a film in my head. I remember it so starkly because it was so cinematic in many aspects. And I looked up. I did the whole thing. Like, I looked it up. Like at the like that in the light. It was so sad of me. I was like a little actor. Anyway, and I knew what it was, but it was like that thing of going through the motions. Because I was like, I'm not taking it, so I pushed it back at him, and he's like, "No, take it." And so we had this sort of thing where we were just both pushing it along the bench. And I'm like, I can't take the money. And anyway, and so eventually I took the money though, because we got on the tram together later, and he sort of just pushed it into my hand as I walked out. And I don't know, I kind of just broke down at the tram stop as it took off. Because he had this saying, which was, we sort of made, I sort of said it because we just didn't understand each other in many different ways. He didn't understand what I was saying, literally what I was saying, because I speak quite fast and I stutter and all the rest of it. But also because I have a certain intonation, which I think I get this from people who speak English as their first language or their mother tongue, whatever you want to say. Yeah, but with him, we just, I don't know, it was bizarre. And anyway, I would do this thing where I would say, we used to do like walking dates because we couldn't go anywhere because it was during the lockdowns and things like this here in Melbourne. 2020 and 21, we sort of met on the cusp between both. Like I think it must have been November 2020 or something. I can't recall. Anyway, and I used to say, "Oh my god, Jesus, just take me now!" Like just as a stupid like exclamation of like, how I can't deal with this person. They're so stupid, or they're so not stupid. He wasn't stupid at all, but rather ignorant, or just fucking bourgeois. I don't have any wine to drink, which is the in joke if you've seen a previous video. But anyway, um, yeah. So he's like very middle class, and he was like, "I'm a middle class Indian." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm categorically aware of what the fuck you are, man. Like, don't you worry about that." But anyway, I would say, like, how do you say what I say? Oh, Jesus, like, take me now. Or Jesus, just beam me up. I used to say, like, Jesus, beam me up, like it was an alien. And he would say it in Hindi. I think it's Hindi. I don't think it's Marathi. I think it's Hindi. But he'd say, "Hey, Bhagwan, utale." And so he'd just say, "Hey, Bhagwan, utale." And I'd say, "Oh, that means the same thing, huh?" He's like, "Pretty much." And I said, "Oh, okay, it's kind of hilarious. It sounds funny. Like, utale, it just sounds like a funny word." I don't know why. It just, in English, it sounds, the syllabic structure of it sounds quite interesting. Hey, Bhagwan is just like, "Hey, God." And then, utale is like, "Take me up." Like, take me. Not up, I think, but just take me. Anyway, so whatever. But I say this because yes, because when the tram took off, he mouthed this through the window. He's like this, and then I was like, it just really pierced my heart. I don't know why. It was just a sentimentality, perhaps, of these many dates we'd had in the past in the park, and it was at the same park because this tram, it turns back into the city. So I got off at what's called the Carlton Gardens tram stop, essentially. And when it turns into Gertrude and turns out of Gertrude into the city. And so I don't know, I just broke down at the tram stop like a total like child. And anyway, and then I remember a few days later or a week later, I met my mother and we went to a cafe, and I just was so fucked by getting the money, by this way that he didn't treat me in any like terribly bad way, but just in a way that was just sort of like, "I clean my hands of you, like I'm done with you. This transaction is over." And I'm like, I didn't treat us as a transaction or whatever we were like even as friends or whatever, as a transaction, and like even talking about it actually makes me want to cry. It's really, damn. Yeah, damn. Pain, hey? Damn. Ah, I shouldn't say it, but I kind of want to say it, Mother Chod. But I shouldn't say that because he wasn't. But yeah. Anyway. What was I saying before I got a little tear? Yeah. Anyway. Damn. If you don't feel the pain, baby, you ain't living. Yeah. Anyway, so I I cried on my mother's shoulder, kind of like just now, but a lot more. And that's when I realized I was from the working class. Like, that's when I realized before here, but after that I realized here in my heart that I was, as I coined a phrase, condemned to my class. And yeah, what the fuck, what to say? But yeah, and so I cried on my mother's shoulder like a boy, and she was really sweet. She was like, that's just what it is. That's our fate. That's just the c'est la vie, like that. Such is life. And god damn, man, that really hurt. Yeah, it really hurt, like being pierced in the heart or something. So anyway, because you can see the pain, uh, yeah, I need to make the music, to uh be like correlative to how I feel. Like I want to transpose or transfer like how I feel. So communicate it. So I feel like this it's like being like someone getting a grater and just grating you, or like being pierced in the heart. It's this very visceral feeling, very physical in many ways, and and because I realized I could never give him the money that he gave me. If our roles were reversed. I mean, well, okay, in terms of relative where we are, like obviously if I had a job in that way and it would be different. I would probably do something similar. Maybe I don't, but I don't think so because I think I don't think I would do it like that. You know what I mean? I think I would do it in a different way. I think friendship would be worth more than you know a bit of money. Anyway, so and I guess that's as a kid's class dialectics. The beginning of class dialectics lies there. The alienation, um, and yeah, just like goddamn, just that pain. And I don't know. It's like making this music. All of these ones. I mean, they're all like this is the thing I realized as well. Actually, I think it's one of the things which really pushed me after this. So I really didn't start making music till after this happened with this guy and with the money and stuff. And I think it was that thing I realized. Oh my god, all these people. I had this totally false comprehension of what I was engaging in a way, because I thought because of the popular image of India and Indians, but India itself, that these were people who were like very in tune with themselves. They were, one could even say, spiritual, but more significantly, they were from a similar background, like similar socioeconomic dichotomy that I'm from. You know, that they would understand. They would come from that point of view. Um, but I failed to consider that they were moving from that society into this society, which is profoundly middle class, bourgeois. It's riddled with bourgeois ethics and all the rest of it, morality, and therefore ways of behaving with the people here, white people to white people. Let's say, not to mention all the other things, but just in terms of that class dialectic, in terms of the society itself, it's very transactional. And so of course they adopt this. But then I also realised that they don't and they do and they don't. They do insofar as it's an adaptive strategy within Melbourne or Australia, but it's not like they change that significantly. They're already socialized in India to be middle class, to expect, to aspire to compete, to transact on some level, emotionally or otherwise, with people, with goods and services, with it's fucked because it's all wrapped, it's all like clustered, it's all synthesized together. I mean, synthesize is not the right word, obviously, but it's all combined in this sort of smoldering vortex of anyway. And I'm not like that. That's not the shape of my heart. Which is a song I did on Iridescent Panther. Anyway, and so, it's that thing where I just realized, it's what it is. It's painful, and I have to accept. But I think my form of acceptance, like processing to get to acceptance, to be able to let go of the thing, to let go of it, is the music. That's why I'm making this music about like the jaguar, about panther, about even to a lesser degree, it's a different thing with Say the Little Pharaoh, but with Jasmine Boy it was the same. With this one it will be the same. This record that I'm going to make about this individual, who, because I'm a fool, I will probably name, not now but in the record, because it's a song I wanted to write when we were in the park the first time we met. We kissed in the park, and I'm pretty sure there was a gang of like not neo-Nazis, but something. They were sort of, I can tell because they had the tattoos, the like Southern Cross tattoos, and the way they were talking and stuff. I was like, oh fuck. So we were in the shadows between the trees kissing, and I was like, this is really risky, because I mean, they don't like queers, but they definitely don't like people who are of color. And I just thought to myself, oh fuck, you know. So I wrote a song about that, because at one point I must have said to him like go. I won't say his name, but go home, like leave, go, because these people, if they see us kissing, one, it's going to be bad, but if they see you, they're going to be like, and me, like, I don't know what the fuck they will do to you. Me, they'll just beat up, but you, I'm more worried for, and anyway, and so, I don't know, it was just, nothing happened, thankfully. We managed to just sort of walk away, and nothing happened, but, yeah, and so I sort of felt like this, obviously you can see I felt like a level of connection. I wouldn't say deep, I don't know how deep it was deep, but it wasn't shallow anyway. Let's put it like that. So anyway, the album will be called Marathi Graffiti, because he was from Maharashtra. Pune is in Maharashtra, which is a state in India. The biggest city anyone watching this would know is, of course, Mumbai or Bombay. It's like the capital, I guess you could say. I think it's the capital. If not, it's the biggest city, so that's the point. And Marathi is sort of like the culture, the dominant culture in that state, and the language is called Marathi. The language they speak is not Hindi, it's different. So anyway, I thought, well, I like the idea of like juxtaposing Marathi and graffiti, because of course they both end with I, so it's an interesting alliteration. But also, it's something I wanted to explore, as I said, because of the thematics, because I'm from the street and he's not, you know what I mean? And graffiti's on the streets, and this idea of like Italian culture, like this big, Italy has this huge amount of culture in each city, similar to Pune. I mean, not it's different. India has a lot of culture in every fucking city too, but I wanted to look at this, how like Italio pop or Italio disco especially, because Italians kind of invented disco, and so it's kind of that too. I wanted to incorporate punk, which is my own kind of parts of my own culture, a bit of sort of Marathi scales and like aspects of their traditional folk music, and also maybe advertisements and things like this, like jingles, and then also use sort of post-disco or dark disco or Italio disco, or probably all three, to try and create a sort of conveyance of how I felt, which was like this elation like going up, but also like this really brutal like anger and feeling of being like from the lower class, and my own insecurity around that, my own ego dissonance of that, and just knowing that the person could never have had me as anything, like we never would have become lovers or something, because I was too low down even for him, So it was like that. He said once, actually, I wish if you were a woman, I might like date you, and I was like, okay, well that's an interesting perspective, but might being the operative word in that sentence, I think. So anyway, yes, I think I should leave it here, but that's sort of just a little thing I'm reflecting upon, unfortunately, today, so, which is stupid, because it's my brother's birthday, and I should be more focused on that, but we can't really control, I suppose, what we're thinking about. But yes, and also, I guess another thing is just simply that, thinking about, getting older, whatever, and I want to go and live my life, I want, like, live my life being, I want to go travel, I want to go live overseas, I want to go and live around real people who are not going to treat me like that, for example, and who I'm not going to treat like that. So where it's not so explicitly transactional, or even implicitly in that way. I'm not to say that human relationships aren't transactional on some level, but I think lower class people, they're more real, they're more authentic, they're more like characters, they actually have individuation without alienation, and I really admire that, because I mean it's admiring because I can see I've gone through all of it, like the bottom, the middle, the up, and it's just the more up you go, the more empty it becomes. You should always just head down, because that's where it's rich and full, like rich in the cultural, in every way apart from money. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like the poor of any culture, especially I don't know, probably India as well, and Italy for sure. That's like, and here too actually, and in the UK too. They are like the richest in everything, but material, but money, but material conditions. Like, they are rich in every other way. Like, they have usually they have huge amounts of cultural capital, but very little economic capital. And they have a huge amount of emotional capital, but very little economic capital. Again, it's always fucking economic capital that they lack. And I just feel very much that's that's my background either way. I mean, I can't condemn to my class, so I can't sort of change that unless I get reborn into a Rockefeller family or some Rothschilds or something, or I marry one, which is highly impossibly unlikely. So, it's never gonna happen. So it's like that, and I don't know. But I do know that if I've only got 28 years left of this life on this planet, maybe 30, then I'm gonna go and fucking do shit now. There ain't no tomorrow, you know what I mean? I'm not waiting around anymore. I'm 32. I got no time, baby. And whoever's watching this, you probably don't have much time either. So do what you wanna do, even if you don't know how to do it. Still do it. Why not? Fuck. What's 30 years in comparison to I don't know, 300 trillion years, or whatever. Who knows this stuff? Just do it. Even if you can't do it, you can do it. Don't start, just continue. Don't start, just continue. Just start walking. Just start doing whatever. Just put a line on a piece of paper, and that's a drawing. Or, I don't know, just, one chord on a piano. Or just tap a fucking pot. And then just hum. That's music. Or write something. Just write, I don't know, 2 words, 3 words. And then that's a poem, or that's a sentence, or that's a whatever. Short story even. But yeah. Don't start, just continue. And yeah. Live. Risk living. Baby. It's another one of my songs. Go and find it.